available to businesses with fewer than 50 employees who've been impacted negatively by the coronavirus. And that will be tomorrow is when the applications will open. And for the first tranche, there's about $8 million available. And these will be loans from $5,000 to $20,000 per business, or up to 3 months of operating expenses. They will be over 5 years, 0 interest, and the first payment will not be won't be due until a year from now. So we hope to be able to reach a lot of businesses throughout the state, and this is designed to just help them bridge to the next till they get their money from the SBA, or if they have other opportunities to get assistance. So this will be in addition to what they may get from the feds or others. And it's really designed to be something that we hope to have checks out as early as next week on this. So we're trying to move very quickly and make this something that can really help in the short term. So we've been working on that for the last week and a half, and I have a great team that's pulled that together. And I think we'll be able to, we're going to announce that at 1 o'clock today. And businesses can apply again at 8 a.m. tomorrow, coronavirus.utah.gov. And it will be, the applications for the first tranche will be open until Friday at noon. So we'll probably release this money in multiple tranches. I don't know if someone has questions about that now. You probably have people who have questions. The application will be online and it should be hopefully pretty self-explanatory. There will be some information required of people, businesses that are applying for the loan. But we want to make it as easy as possible and make it something that can really make a difference. So let me just take some questions about that right now, because I'm sure you have some.
Okay, let me unmute everybody. I think that'll be the easiest way. If you want to ask a question, go ahead and unmute yourself. How's that?
Okay, this is Kelly Stone. I work over at MTech. I had a question, and that was, so I missed it right at the beginning. What was the upward size of the business? Is it strictly the number of employees, or is it the amount of income? I know it's targeting small businesses. Is that correct?
There we go.
So up to 50 employees is the size of the loan program.
Okay, so it's not based on income, it's just strictly on employees, just to make it simple. And it's all going to go through that website, the state's website, is that correct?
Yes, coronavirus.utah.gov.
Excellent. Well, that's a fantastic idea. I think that's great to have something simple and quick.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And targeting the little guys. I think that's nice.
Okay, any other questions? If you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself. I allowed everybody the ability to unmute yourself. So if you want to unmute yourself, go ahead and do that and ask your question.
Yes, this is Gwen Acey with Squire & Company. I'm sorry, I missed the very beginning. Is there a cap on the amount that they can apply for?
Yes, it's $5,000 to $20,000 per loan, or up to 3 months operating expenses. So the cap is $20,000 or 3 months operating expenses. That's pretty much the limit. And by the way, we would love to have a lot of our CPAs kind of get the word out to small businesses, because we know that we're going to do our best to get the word out to people. But if some of our CPAs would take that information and share it with some of their clients, I think it would be very helpful.
Okay, any other questions?
So it looks like we have a question from Jared. Can you hear me now?
Oh, good. Yeah, your audio's working.
Hey, there's Josh.
Nice.
Miracle. My third microphone. Okay. We have a question from Jared Casey. He says, is this the same program that Salt Lake County is doing, or is this different?
This is different. This is in addition. So they have a program similar to this in St. George, one in Salt Lake City, and one in Ogden. And there may even be some others around the state. This is one that will be statewide. It's basically, it's pretty similar. I think their amounts are the same. And so But we don't care if businesses get multiple loans. We're not really interested. We will ask you if you've applied for other loans, but that won't have any determining factor in whether you get this loan.
And so this is already live or going live?
No, it comes online tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
You guys are getting a
8 a.m.
scoop. I'm announcing this to the public with the governor at 1 o'clock. So
Oh, nice.
that's why I have to jump off. So you guys can run and call your stockbrokers or whatever you need to do, you know, early. I'm just kidding.
So is there, this doesn't have anything to do then with the loan forgiveness program for payroll, right? That's a federal program.
That's a federal program, yes.
And can you talk a little bit about the process you guys have gone through to get to this program, and what other recommendations you might have for businesses in finding the right resources? I know that there's a lot of information out there, but not all of it is accurate.
Yeah, well, I would really encourage businesses to apply for the SBA loans and the federal help. There's a lot of money, and I think it's first come, first serve. So we would really like to see our businesses apply for that and get that money in addition to the loan I'm talking about. Miles Hansen from the World Trade Center has been the one that's been overseeing the federal aspect of all of this. So we have an economic response task force headed by Derek Miller of the Salt Lake Chamber. And so I oversee state and local resources. Miles oversees federal resources. And then we have a number of other subcommittees as part of that. And, you know, the federal bill was what, 800, 900 pages? I don't know. So there's a lot of details, but I would encourage businesses to find out what's going on, probably talk to their CPAs or those who've looked into that, and apply. There's a lot of money to be had, and we think that some great programs to help businesses who've been suffering through this. So apply for our loan and apply for this other loan, and let's get some help. Let's see if we can get people back to work if our business is open.
Is there a time frame that you as a committee have talked about on, you know, we know that Trump has said he wanted things up and running by Easter, and, you know, governor has now said by the end of April. Right now is where we're looking for the stay home initiative.
Yeah, I
what
think
kind of impact do you guys foresee economically on our business?
Well, it's going to have a huge impact. It already has had a big impact on businesses, but also on the state. I fully suspect the legislature will call a special session here in the next couple of weeks. And I would suspect that they will maybe go back and make some budget adjustments, because for the remainder of this year, the budget projections will all be incorrect. So my guess is they'll make some budget corrections for this year and then also for the coming budget year. So fortunately, we have a rainy day fund, and I would classify this as raining right now. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'd say economically it's a downpour. So hopefully they will access some of that rainy day fund to mitigate some of the impact that this will have on our state's budget. But from a business standpoint, you know, it's anybody's best guess. I think they're hoping that by the end of April that this will have peaked, the coronavirus will have peaked. There's some people who are saying that it may peak, then go down and then come up again a little bit. But I would suspect we're looking at, you know, probably early summer before things start to return to a little bit of normal. But I'm no expert. I'm just reading what you do in the paper. I don't know. It's a scary time if you're a business owner, but I really appreciate all of the people who are doing their part to try to help with the restaurants and the small businesses. My wife and I went out to eat Saturday night, and I drove by In-N-Out Burger. I counted the cars. There were 30 cars in the drive-up at In-N-Out Burger Saturday night. It's the one there kind of over by the University Mall in Orem, and it wrapped around the whole parking lot. It was this big long loop of cars. And I thought, well, good for them. People are out and supporting. And the restaurant I went to, the fast food place, had a lot of cars in line. So, you know, kudos to our people who are doing their part to try to help these businesses stay open and patronizing the local businesses. I think that's what we all need to try to do.
Well, the In-N-Out burger was, that I drove by, had a long line, but the Chick-fil-A had no cars in their line. So I don't know what that says.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
Well,
What are some other things that you guys at the Governor's Office of Economic Development, what are some other things you guys have changed, or new things, new ways you guys have decided to do things over there? What specific things has the governor tasked you with?
Well, this program is probably consumed most of our time and energy. We have a repository for all sorts of different programs going on, both the state, locally, and nationally, where we're trying to put those on that coronavirus website, so you can go and see what all of those resources are from around the state and even some from around the country. GoEd also oversees the Office of Tourism. And as you can imagine, the tourism economy, the film economy, which we work with, the outdoor recreation economy, they've all been greatly impacted. And so we've been working with the national parks, and now you see the Canyonlands and Arches are closed. We're working with some of the communities on coming up with an outdoor recreation recommendation. You know, we all love to get out, especially when we're cooped up all day, get out into the outdoors and recreate. The trouble is, if we go very far from home, those other communities don't really want us there. I mean, the people in Moab have pretty much closed down the hotels. They do not want people from the Wasatch Front going down and staying in their community. And so we're working to come up with some recommendations, just recommendations that things like, hey, if you're going to recreate, stay within an hour of where you live. Don't drive to another part of the state and scare those people. They're nervous. You know, Southern Utah hasn't been impacted like we have, but if everybody in Northern Utah goes down to Southern Utah to recreate, then we'll take the diseases with us and it'll cause it to spread. So we work on a few things like that here and there. I was just thinking yesterday as I was watching some movies, the Film Commission is in GoEd, and I'm guessing that the whole film industry has been dramatically impacted as well. So it's a tough time to be doing anything in Utah right now from a business standpoint, unless you're in the Costco food business or any grocery store. And I heard last night on the news that Lowe's was doing a booming business, and Home Depot, because all the husbands at home are being given honeydew lists, have to go and paint the living room or fix the thing they've been telling their wife they would do when they got around to it. So now they've got time. They're apparently, those home improvement stores are doing a booming business. Other questions that you have?
So we had Don Davis.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Christina.
No, I just saw that pop up, but you can probably read it. I don't think.
Yeah. Are there any programs yet to suspend interest and/or principal payments on current small business loans?
I'm not aware of any, but I would suspect that when the legislature goes into special session, I think they're going to be considering a number of things like that. And in fact, if you have a good idea or something that could maybe alleviate some of the problem in business or in other businesses, you may want to reach out to your legislator. And is it Brady Brammer? I don't know. Well, in American Fork and Pleasant Grove, reach out to your legislators and maybe recommend that they consider some of those things in the special session. That will be something that I'm sure there will be a lot of different things discussed at that point.
So when is the special session slated to start?
Not sure, but I'm guessing within 2 weeks, maybe 3. I know that they want to meet soon, and I know that they're compiling a list of possible things like that they can consider during the special session.
We had another question saying, do you know if mortgage and rent payments are being considered or discussed as well?
Not in our office, but my guess is at some point somebody's considering that. But again, that might be one that would be recommended to the legislature to see if they would have any interest in doing something like that.
And maybe we did have Len Williams on the call last week. He's the president of Alta Bank, and he did say that the Utah Bankers Association is considering mortgage and rent deferments for up to 12 months. And so I think a lot of that depends on the bank, but Alta Bank said that they're planning on issuing something like that. So
yeah, and that would be great to see our financial institutions step up like that. You know, one of the things that we've got here in our community is a tremendous desire to help out. I've seen Silicon Slopes and their effort to raise money to help. We just have a tremendous community that works together to try to solve these problems. And Utah's always been this way since the pioneers first rolled into the valley. And that's just what we do. We solve problems. We work best when there are difficult issues to solve. Sometimes we work the least together when things are going well. So when things go tough, we tend to rally around it and solve problems.
you see that next question there, Christina?
I can't see it.
Okay.
I'm on my phone.
From Jared Casey, he said, my landlord is concerned that we will not make rent as well as their other tenants. Are there any support funds coming for landlords?
Yeah, and that one I don't know. That doesn't really fall in our bailiwick, so I'm not sure what's happening in that regard. I know it's an interesting thing. It's got a bit of a cascading effect because, people, businesses and others are concerned about their mortgage and their rent lease payments, and then the people who own the businesses are concerned about their payments, and so it kind of cascades. But that's something that really a lot of people need to look at.
So the next question we had come in was from Mike Buckwalters with Knight's Furniture. He said, are there going to be any changes to the payment of sales tax to the tax commission?
There have been some discussions about that, and I'm guessing that would be one that may be considered in a special session, I would think. I've heard some discussion about that, but I don't know that there's anything that's definitive yet.
So that'll probably be in the special session discussion.
Yeah, and it will have impact. All of these things have impact on the budget, and so it's something that the legislature is going to have to consider, and how much of a hit they're willing to take on the budget.
And maybe you can talk to on the city level, because I've talked with several mayors and city administrators. They're trying to figure out how to plan ahead. The budget is going to be impacted because of that sales tax thing, the lack of sales tax.
Yeah.
What kind of, it's hard to say. Let's hear. Stacy Carroll, she's on the council here in American Fork, says sales tax also affects city budgets. So yeah, I'm talking about that. Are there going to be funds, rainy day funds issued to cities to say, we know you have that road project that has to get done, so you're helping out with that, or?
That's a good question. There is, I don't know how many, 800 million or something like that in rainy day funds. And I don't know if the legislature will use those to help out cities or if they will use them primarily for state projects. My guess is one of the things they'll do is go in and cut the budget a little bit in the state. And how they choose to do that, I don't know, but as I mentioned, it's raining now, so hopefully they'll access some of that rainy day fund. Well, I've got time for maybe one more question before I've got to run.
Okay. Let's see here. So somebody already asked. Well, I'll answer Kurt's question in a minute after you hop off. That's about the SBA loan program. Basically, just wrapping up remarks, Val, on encouraging people to shop local, or
Yeah. So here's my comment. Before this happened, Utah's economy, I mentioned, was the best in the country. We are the most diverse economy. We had a very, very strong economy going. There was nothing structurally broken in the economy like there was in 2008. Even nationally, we were doing really quite well. So the encouraging thing to me is that if we can get through this, whatever it is, 8-week, 12-week period, and come out of it still relatively intact, we're going to be in great shape, because the economy has been really solid in Utah. There's no reason to think that we can't continue where we left off. I mean, there's going to be some casualties along the way, obviously, but we just need to be resilient. We need to be creative. The governor uses 3 words: adapt, innovate, and overcome. And sometimes that innovate you can exchange with improvise. We need to adapt to the new reality that's here for a while. We need to innovate and improvise, try to get by. Things like, doing curbside dining and whatever. And then the final is overcome. At the end of the day, we need to overcome. We need to come out of this and be successful. I think if we do that and just keep plugging along the Utah way, and we all participate, we have our hashtag is Utah Leads Together. And I think that's a great hashtag for this time for us. We all lead together, and we're gonna come out of this on top and show the nation how it's done. So thanks everyone for your sacrifices, for your efforts to help however you can, and good luck as you try to deal with this.
can you give us the website one more time?
Coronavirus.utah.gov, and that application will be up tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks, Val.
Okay,
Thanks, Val. Good to see you, man.
Yep,
Thank you
bet.
very
See
much.
you later.
Okay, so just everyone is aware that missed the call earlier, and basically Val said that it's a loan program that's going to be made available starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and that will be from basically you can get up to from $5,000 to $20,000. Is that right, Christina? Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think it's how many months of operating costs? 3 months
Up to 3 months of
operating costs.
And so,
And specifically for businesses under 50 employees.
right. And so that will be made available tomorrow at 8 a.m. Hopefully that answers the question, Kurt. And just real quick, I guess we can cover some of the resources. We've spent innumerable hours putting up more and more resources. So Christina, do you want to cover some of the new things we've added?
So, well, on our website, if you go to our website, which is AmericanForkChamber.org, we have a big graphic there on the front now that says coronavirus. And if you click on that, we have links to a whole bunch of resources, including the one that Val was talking about, the coronavirus website for the state. So we have several business resources, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the Small Business Administration. Again, like you said, if you need to apply for more than one loan, that's totally fine. They're not going to hold that against you. That won't affect whether or not you'll qualify for that loan he was talking about. Department of Workforce Services, they have some information about what the obligations are for employees and employers right now. The U.S. Chamber, they have a good document that they just put out that talks about how it's going to work with the $350 billion that was just approved as part of that stimulus package. If you click on that, they have just a really concise, neat 4-page document that explains that very neatly and quickly. Then we have some health information where you can just go Centers for Disease Control, the Utah County Health Department. Domo has a really good tracker for the virus itself. You can see, I think that updates every 10 minutes. You can see the latest information on the number of cases and where they are and how many people have been affected. Then below that, we have just some updated dates on events that we've had to reschedule or cancel. And then there's a drop down at the very top under coronavirus, strategies to help your business. And that's ways that you can, work on your business now. If you aren't able to even be open, there are some things that you can do to still help you come back better and stronger than ever. And then supporting the business community, like Val talked about. It's really important right now that we support our businesses. I'm sure many of you as business owners and professionals know how negative the impact has been on what you do. And so we're just really encouraging people to still keep doing business. We have a link actually on our homepage, if you want to go to that one, Josh, right underneath, where you can click on the little buttons, American Fork Restaurants and then Highland Alpine Cedar Hills Restaurants. And that will give you the latest information. We have a Google sheet that we're updating all the time as we get new information, and that will give you information about who's doing pickup, who's doing delivery, who's doing curbside, how to contact them. And there's one for American Fork, and then there's one for the Lone Peak Business Alliance. And then the last drop down underneath coronavirus is just a link to our YouTube channel, and you can watch all of these videos. Josh gets them edited pretty quickly and gets them up on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and rewatch them or refer people to them.
So
I think that's about everything that's new, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're changing it all the time. We're updating and putting new things on as we get them all the time. But I think that's everything that's new since the last call.
So speaking of, we've also, because of seeing the need, we've added some what we're calling mini-sodes onto our conference call series. So tomorrow we have Vartan, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. But
I'm not either.
He's a regional representative with the U.S. Chamber, and so he'll hop on the call and he'll be addressing a lot of the information for businesses about what came out on the stimulus package. And so, like Christina mentioned, there's a 4-page document that talks about how businesses can access that information and understand what that stimulus does for your business. But they'll have a lot more answers, and Vartan will be able to address those tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, we have a speaker, I think of his
Dave
name.
Crenshaw.
Yeah, Dave Crenshaw. So he specializes in working from home, and he's got a kind of a web series that he's put out there on LinkedIn with tips and tricks and information on how to best utilize your time at home and become that much more effective. And so he'll be doing a mini-sode on Wednesday, and then we'll go to, on Thursday, back to our regular call, and that will be Brandon Fugel will speak on basically the climate for developers and what that means for Utah. And if you're not familiar with Brandon Fugel, his name is on just about every billboard out there in commercial development.
Every Collier sign you pass, pretty much. So I just want to talk a little bit about a couple of the things coming up too that we're doing. So Val also mentioned, the takeout challenge. So we're working on some things to promote that. We have a Facebook group that's a takeout, the North Utah County takeout group, and it has 1,600 and some odd people in it. And it's a place where people can go and post information, or restaurants can go and post their latest information on whether or not they're open and they're doing delivery, curbside, or just takeout. You have to just go in and pick it up. But we're getting a lot of action on there. A lot of people are posting. So that's for all restaurants in North Utah County. And then we're going to create something to encourage people to do that for the 3T challenge, to get takeout 3 times a week. And then we have this other group that's shop local and support local. And that's specifically for our chamber area. And so we're encouraging people and businesses to post on that, all kinds of businesses, not just restaurants. Even if you are an office type business and you have questions, or people can access what you do somehow and it might be helpful, then we're encouraging everybody to post on there, all local companies. You don't just have to be a retail company. We want to support, retail and services and everybody who does business in our community. And then we're also working on, for this Friday, April 3rd, we're working on putting together a gift card. I don't want to call it a challenge, but anyway, we're going to encourage people to, everyone to buy a gift card that day from some kind of local business. So we're going to create an event and push that out and see if we can get as many people as possible to buy gift cards that day, to give our local businesses that cash that they need right now to keep going. And then you have something you can spend later when you can actually go out of your house.
So to address some of the questions that have come in, looks like my little helper has decided to join me. So on the SBA loans, we have got a lot of information out there. We actually have a video on our YouTube channel that addresses that. Al Dillard mentioned he's got information on the SBA loans. So his business is all about funding for businesses. And so we can get information on our website about him as well. Mike Buckwalter, there are a lot of updates and listings for individual restaurants and their status and changes. Is there a similar listing created by the Chamber for retail stores? So not yet, but it is on our to-do list. It's just, it took a lot of time to get all the restaurants done. And now we're working on the next phase, which is all the retail chain stores.
Yeah, if anybody wants to send us your information about your store, we're happy to push that out. We're happy to get that information to people, whether we create a Google sheet, which is probably what we'll do at some point to cover all businesses. We're happy to post in those groups as well for you.
And then, so the Facebook page, so there's two different Facebook pages, Glenn. We've got the North Utah County curbside pickup. And then both of these are linked on our American Fork Facebook page, so you can find them.
Yeah,
and
they're
then,
actually groups, so you have to join. You have to just click to join, and we are approving everybody to come in. We're just making sure that no spammers come in. So we are having to approve everyone, but everyone is welcome to join.
And then we had Kurt mention the Alpine Highlands Cedar Hills restaurant link is not working. We will get that fixed.
Yes, it's not. That one's not working quite yet. I haven't put that link up there yet.
And okay, I'll do. All right. Before Hannah leaves, she wants to say hi to everyone. Say hi.
Hi. Hi, Hannah.
All right, now go.
Hi, Hannah.
All right. If we've got someone messaging saying that they have an idea on gift cards, so we'll talk about that, and maybe that can be part of our program. And then if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. Either myself, and I'll post the phone number on the video, but my phone number 801-472-7467.
And we have done hours and hours of brainstorming and thinking. So if anybody else has any ideas, we would love to hear them.
Kevin, the SBA video, it's the link on the website goes to our YouTube channel. So it's on the American Fork Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. And so
if you let it drop down and you click on the series, you'll see the name of the series, and just click on that. It'll take you right to the YouTube channel.
So, and I do want, Peter, if you wouldn't mind hopping on real quick. Christina, if you'll unmute him, or he can unmute himself, I guess.
Yeah, I think I made it so that everybody can unmute themselves.
Peter, are you there? Maybe we lost him. Anyway, I just wanted to thank the Small Business Resource Center and
no, he's still here.
Small Business Development Center, and then the Business Resource Center.
Okay, I unmuted him.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, unless he's just working.
Yeah, maybe he wants to be muted. Maybe he went back to what he was doing.
But we're partnering with them in all these video series. They have mentors. They have professionals that are able to help address any questions you might have. This is a trying time for businesses. Nobody has ever been through this before in the history of the world, which is a very rare thing to say. But we're trying to come up with as many resources as possible so that we can help curb the impact that this coronavirus has on all of us. And so that, like Val Hale was saying, we can get back to what a semblance of a normal business routine as quickly as possible. How long that takes, no one knows at the moment, but we are confident that Utah in particular is in a place where we can recover quicker than most.
And we do have links on that coronavirus page to the Business Resource Center and the Small Business Development Center. You can link directly to them.
So I'll just pull those up again real quick. That way we can just...
We've tried to put everything on that page just so people can find what they need really quickly.
So if you go to our home page, and if you scroll down a little bit, then you can see where we have the
latest video.
Latest video. If you go down to our drop-down menu, then you've got Business Leadership Conference Call Series. That's going to be the easiest way to find those videos that we've been doing. And then, like Christina mentioned, all of these other strategy or basically resources, the easiest way is you just click on the coronavirus tab, and then U.S. Chamber of Commerce for SBA right here, there's your tab for the SBA, and that's going to be the easiest way to get the information to apply for those SBA loans. All right. Christina, do we have anything else? Any other questions from anyone?
I think that's it, unless anybody has any other questions.
Okay, well, we'll have our mini-sode with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce tomorrow, and then with Dave Crenshaw on Wednesday and Brandon Fugel, a regular full-fledged episode on Thursday. So thank you, everyone, for your time. Christina, since you kicked us off, why not kick us out?
Thanks, everybody. We hope we see you tomorrow and the rest of this week. Stay healthy and stay safe.